border has a budget of 7.2 billion that the court ordered the parliament to build. I'm telling you something people don't know, that the court told the parliament to build the border. And it's got the budget, the tenders were out and everything. They need to tell us before the 4th of November, why is that border not built yet? Some are giving us technical answers when we sit with them in meetings. We don't mind because, you know, when you are in parliament, you're getting free flights, free cell phone, free food, free everything. You think you're smarter. But the country is getting dragged down while you are in parliament. You should be ashamed of yourself.
There are people in our country who have taken it upon themselves.
Há indivíduos no nosso país
And some of the things that have happened cannot be associated
que são responsáveis pelas coisas que estão a
with the
acontecer.
view that South Africa and South Africans are xenophobic.
Estão a tentar criar uma imagem de que a África do Sul ou o povo sul-africano é xenófobo.
Yes, we do have a big challenge of illegal immigration in South Africa.
É verdade que temos grande desafio com imigrantes ilegais na África.
It's not a South African unique problem, but not hatred,
Mas nunca com ódio.
which we have come to be associated with.
E esse ódio está sendo associado
That
a
we
nós,
don't want Africans.
que parece que nós não
We
queremos
chase Africans
africanos.
like animals and dogs.
Nós corremos com os
That's why
africanos.
government has adopted a program of action
Por isso é que temos agora
to
programa de
deal
ação
with this particular challenge,
para lidar com este
which the
desafio.
president announced publicly. We have called for law enforcement and calmness.
Já pedimos,
We have made it very clear as the ANC.
como a ANC, nós tornamos
We
claro
cannot and we should not
que não
be
devemos
associated
estar associados
with anything that amounts to hate crime.
com tudo.
Cyril Ramaphosa's puppets have all ganged up and decided that we must fight Jacinta Zuma. They've tried different patterns and tactics to stop her, all to no avail. First, they resorted to force, and now their latest strategy is blackmail. Just yesterday, Fikile Mbalula boldly stood on stage and claimed that Jacinta is being sponsored by outside forces. But trust me, Jacinta is more than equal to the task. She has silenced every single one of them, leaving them with no choice but to retreat to their violent ways. In this video, we are going to expose them all. Grab a cup of coffee, relax, and get ready, because what you're about to see in this video will leave you completely shocked. If you support what Jacinta is doing, please hit that like button and share this video with every South African so they can see the true colors of the leaders in the ANC. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Drop a love emoji in the comments for Jacinta if you believe she will win this battle against Ramaphosa's puppets. Jabulani, roll the clip.
We have not accused Machas in our statement. Read it. We characterize the problem and we say, what is it that we must avoid? We're not condemning them, but we're not pulling back on wrongdoing. We can't all as a nation keep quiet when other people, because we fear for this and that, allow dangerous populism to erode the democratic standing of our country. We must go around the world explaining ourselves to the United Nations. It looks like it's deliberate to show South Africa as something else. Because I saw something that has been circulated now that no, they were busy with Palestine. They are busy with other things. In their own country, they are failing to deal with their own situation and so on. Now, we are detailing step by step what are the things that are happening. Yesterday, we attended a meeting in Pretoria convened by government, including all these NGOs. When we arrived there, they were present. Of course, it's a right thing to do, to talk to people, but they must equally understand what the government is going to do. Because government cannot allow a state of lawlessness. You cannot go to national TV and threaten violence. Who are you? In a democratic state, express your views, criticize government about its ineptness, quote unquote, in dealing with matters of illegal immigrants. But don't call for violence in our country. We know what violence can do. These people who call for violence, look at what they did in June and July unrest, looting here in Joburg and KZN. And now they think, no, this thing is doable. You can go to TV and say that on such and such a date, if you don't move mountains, you will see what will happen. We are not concerned about March and March. We are not focused on March and March. We are just putting policy before South Africans to say the state, the democratic state, must intervene and at the same time in terms of laws, but at the same time in terms of protecting the citizenry. If that does not happen, anyone can call himself a leader and emerge on a popular front and be funded by people with dubious interest to our country, to hurt our country's image. It's not good for South Africa to be projected in the international landscape as a xenophobic people. You will know, most of you who travel abroad, people love this country. Yes, we've got problems, but we don't want to compare with others. The question of illegal immigration is global. Donald Trump has gone to the House and they gave him billions of rands to execute what is called ICE. People have been chased up and down, arrested in America and all of that, and been victimized and so on. We don't want to degenerate to that level. We want money and laws that protect us. And we illustrate in our statement what are those laws that we need to implement. We are not concerned about March and March. They are raising an important issue that is in the public domain that is well known to all of us. I was a minister of police. If I were to take a practical an example, we were working here around the city center. Herman Mashaba was a mayor for a few days before the DA ejected him. We went here, buildings are full of people who are undocumented here. So if you were to walk in the streets here and somebody pickpocket you, and we chase that person and he get into that building, we will never know who did this crime. They are undocumented, unregistered, and it's a national security threat. So government must not allow this anarchy in our country to engulf us as though we don't have a state. We must put down the state, not boots and all of that, but through the laws, and they must be enforced. Now, all the other issues, we will be able to deal with them because we cannot afford our country to be characterized as a country that hates Africans, and that is xenophobic. Just by looking at Samkelo in his color and being very black, then you decide that, no, Lomfo, I uvela. You know, there is a stage in this country where police were going in the streets and look at people. Do you remember that? When there was what is that place of Home Affairs? Lindela, where people were taken in Lindela by buses, and then they look at your face. If you can't speak properly, you speak Venda or you speak Tsonga, they take you to Lindela. Hey man, I'm from Venda, and so on and all of that. And just the tribalistic thing. And hurting ourselves in the process. People are protesting. Uvumuntu atukule protest. Aswafuna mashangan. Shangans are part of us. These are our people. What have Shangans done to us? In these protests, you hear people say, hey, Aswafuna mashangan. Now you want us to keep quiet in the name that we are protesting. No, that
I'm not a leader that wants to be fashionable like Mashaba Khutela. but leading my people to jail. Who's going to bail you? Then your mother must go alone. Where will Mackenzie be? We don't want those things. This is our country. We love this country. We must behave. What more do you want? What more do you want? Can you see that illegal foreigners, buses are fighting? Malawians are even fighting to go back home. El Dorado Park was never touched. Annandale and those places. So as a leader of the PA, I'm telling every PA member, do not assault children. Do not assault illegal foreigners. That is not who we are. That's not, you mustn't go with the hype. We are not Action SA. We want nothing to do with much too much. I'm telling you today, stay far away. I know what is coming. They think the state is scared of them. You see, President Ramaphosa had something I learned from him. President Ramaphosa has got something I learned from him. He doesn't move with the wind. He's very calculative. He looks at stuff. And I think the time has come now. We cannot be brand South Africa's image is people with spears, and they think people are all scared of them. We are not scared of them. We have our army in the Patriotic Alliance. It's a disciplined green army. So I want to warn every member of the PA, if you're going to make yourself guilty of assaulting illegal foreigners, we will expel you. If you want to make yourself guilty of some mocking people on the 30th of June, they gave a deadline. Play baie weg. The state is going to act. I'm part of the state. We will act. So I am telling you today, don't go to that march. Don't be part of March to March. If somebody dies there, you will be... If somebody dies there, you will be charged with murder. You will be charged with murder. President Ramaphosa and them, they've done nothing about illegal foreigners before we came there. Why do you think they say no, the state is acting because they march? You started to march yesterday, last month. We have, and not Gayton McKenzie, other ministers. Imagine, so I want to say to PA people, we will not be part of anarchy in our country.
Sometimes it really makes you wonder, what kind of leaders do we have? When these men were not in power, every single one of them campaigned against illegal immigration. But now, all of a sudden, there's a complete U-turn. Let's start with Fikile Mbalula. If you listen carefully, you'll hear him accusing Jacinta and the March and March movement of being funded by people with their own selfish agendas. But at least he agreed on one thing, that illegal immigration is a crime anywhere in the world, even in the USA. What really caught my attention, though, is their absolute refusal to accept the truth. Each of them tried incredibly hard to downplay Jacinta's impact. They claim the government isn't acting just because of March and March. Mbalula said so, and even Ramaphosa's puppet, Gayton McKenzie, repeated the exact same line. But let me shock you. Do you know that right after Jacinta's press briefing, they all started panicking? It got to a point where Ramaphosa was forced to come out on national television to address the nation. Jacinta literally made Ramaphosa obey her. After she threatened that he must come out live to address the issue, he ran straight to TV to address the nation. That tells you everything you need to know about the level of influence this woman possesses. Now, let's watch how Jacinta takes her time to respond to each of them, putting them exactly where they belong. Jabulani, roll the clip.
ngithi mina bakhona abafikayo akade benenzela umsangano unyaka wonke nayonke leminyaka nawe zonke lezikhathi bebefika endlini bezonilethela igrosa bethi nibavotele thatha grosa nangezi nithathe nenze ngisho ibray ngaleyo grosa nginika iskipha nisithathe futhi niphinde nisisule ngaso phansi base ngoba yezwa kodwa phambi kwabo ninasho lutho nivume lokho abakushoyo thathe grosa ngiyangizwa thathe grosa kodwa ngomhla ka4 ungayenzi into ebhedayo ngoba masuvota wena wedwa ozoba ukhona malithi ikhansela lishuthele litshela ukuthi umthetho awuvumi umthetho awuvumi ukuthi ushuthe ukuthi ufonele uvotele bani yasho masuvota uvota wena nonembeza wakho akho khansela salinethezela kulo nyaka nyakisho akho ngisho uhulumeni sonethezela kulo nyaka nyasho ngoba nibangaka nje nintshela ukuthi uhulumeni fanele silalele yena kunokuthi uhulumeni ulalele thina sephelile ke lokho asakwenzi sengivala mhla 30 June ngithi ngomhla ka 30 June nyangizwa ngithe ubani ngizwe kahle ngithi ngifuna ngenze into eyodwa nje ngomhla 30 June noma zibe u2 ngomhla ka 30 akhona yedwa engicela ukuthi ayesitole yolutha niyezwa akhona yedwa umuntu ofika kufanele nimshaye niyezwa ngoba the minute nibashaya uzobuka thina kuthiwa Nkosi yami arms enkosi ishayiwe Jesu oh shame ama South Africa ama vigilante uzothiwa uvele benilambile benifuna ithuba lokuthi nitshontshe lento siyenzayo ukuthi abantu abahamba asilambile ngoba siyenza ngoba unezingane and uma izingane iqhubeka ziphile ezweni la kukhona abantu esingabazi umuntu ohlangana naye umazi noma uphuma le wabulala abantu noma udla abantu noma umdlwenguli leyo ngane yakho ngelinye ilanga iyobe ihleli nabo bodwa wena uzobe ungasekho lama drugs abayifida ingane zeni njengamanje nawe ngelinye ilanga kungase kube yakhe ingane so ngithi kunina ngomhla ka30 asintshontshe asiluthi into esiyenza ngomhla ka30 siyabatshela nje kahle uhulumeni wethu ukuthi sithi abenzani abizwa abenzani ngomhla ka30 sithini ngizohamba masiseningi kumputho ogcina sengizohamba mhla ka30 sithini ishabune ingane ezo7 sithini ishabune sitolo sakhe urijudge la khona sithini isho ngabe sithi uhulumeni wethu umnika amaphepha awantshontshe lapha ka-Home Affairs naleyigebengu zakhona sithini sithi lelizwe elethu ilizwe elethu South Africa elethu
If you are in a country illegally, I think any South African that goes to another country to break their laws, to become an illegal immigrant, a criminal, really needs to be dealt with and brought back home. So that we're not compromising on. But the nice thing, though, is that the move right now, the trajectory that everyone is moving towards is to protect their countries. In Europe, it's happening. In the USA, it's happening. Every single country is now saying that we want to protect ourselves.
Do you model yourself masters Donald Trump?
And we call upon the president to address the nation in respect to the issues raised above before the 30th of June 2026. As our people want to take to the streets on the 30th of June 2026 if this issue is not addressed correctly. Mother Teresa once said, when a poor person dies of hunger, it has not happened because God did not take care of him or her. It happened because neither you nor I wanted to give that person what he or she needed. Our people want justice and they want it now. Let us all rise to save our country, save our people from hunger and inequality. South Africa will be great again. It just needs all of us to rise and defeat our enemy. And tomorrow we must all rise and play a role to defend our heritage. And God bless South Africa. So what we're dealing with here is a government that is itching for violence. I think for them it's an opportunity to test their powers, because if they wanted to deal with crime and deal with violence and deal with all the problems that we have in the country, all that excitement that they have, they could have used it right now. We're dealing with a lot of crimes and criminals and organized crimes, but I've never seen them so excited to unleash the military. So if our demands are not met, we'll see.
Thank you. Can we take a news essay?
Unleashing the soldiers or the military on its own people. I think it would be a very, very sad day. We already know that they've done it in the sense that they say they are combating crime that they have failed to control. And I feel like with that being done, they can use those very same soldiers that they've deployed to fight crime to remove illegal immigrants. But so far, I haven't seen illegal immigrants being removed by the SANDF, which once again proves that our government is fighting its own people. They're not fighting crime. Because if they were fighting crime, there would be SANDF members there at Point Road, where there are women and girls that are trafficked, where there are 13-year-olds that we found breastfeeding a child of a Nigerian there in that room, where there are drugs and the police there at Point Road are part of the criminal network. If the government was really sending out the SANDF members to fight the crime that we have in this country, they would have started with those places. But they're not interested in that because they know exactly why they've been sent out. And maybe we'll hear from Mam Njiguti what exactly is her plan, because you can't kill every single South African, because majority of us are tired of illegal immigrants. If they want to kill all of us, then they must go ahead and kill us. But we'll die fighting for the future of this country, because I cannot imagine any of our children having to confront Nigerians and being bossed around by Somalian children. We already have to put up with so much of that. Currently, we're sitting with so many cases of young girls that have been raped and molested by these Somalians and Ethiopians, and they claim it's because they helped us with apartheid. We've paid our dues now. It's time that everyone goes home.
Ramaphosa, the Grand Master and leader of the gang, was asked what he thought about Jacinta and the planned June 30th march and March protest. What he said completely shocked the nation. Jabulani, play the clip.
Mr. President, thank you for your time. The issue of immigration is at the top of South Africans' minds. 30 June is a deadline that has been set for you. Don't you have your own deadline?
Well, I have intervention measures that are being taken to address the concerns of our people. And as I announced the other day when I addressed the nation, I outlined a number of interventions that we are taking. And those interventions have largely been welcomed by our people as immediately effective and important steps that we need to be taking to ensure that we have people in our country who are fully documented. So, as I said, no South African must take any action against any person from any of our African sister countries. That is the responsibility of government and government officials. So the 30th, the so-called 30th of June, in my view, is not an event that is even necessary, because we are addressing the challenges that our people are facing. And we must not allow South Africans to be duped and to be misled by those who want to foster instability in our country. And we will not allow that. So security forces in our country are going to ensure that there is no instability and there's no disruption of the lives of our people. But government is continuing the interventions that we announced.
President Samkela from the SABC, 2 questions on my side. Is the issue of illegal immigration being used as a political football by some in order to influence the upcoming local government elections on the 4th of November? Then secondly, the hot potato, the interdict you filed. Just some of the points you've raised in your court papers. Why the interdict at this point in time? Why not earlier when you ultimately decided to take the report on legal review? Thank you.
Well, just dealing with the issue of the whole issue of the review, that is a matter that is now taking its course. As every South African, including the President, has their own rights in terms of the Constitution, that must be allowed to happen, and the courts will decide. It's not my decision. It's going to be the courts of our country who are the real arbiters of disputes in our country. And so let us allow that process to ensue. Now, with regard to a number of those who are making a lot of noise about these marches that are taking place, there does seem to be an intention to destabilize the country. And clear message is that we are not going to allow that. We are not going to allow the grievances and the concerns of our people to be misused and to be abused by those who have nefarious intentions. Our people have heard the message, and we are taking action, and we are implementing the interventions that are in the end going to address those needs.
Mr. President, Slinda Losibata from ENCA, your response to the World Health Organization's head, especially it seems as a disinformation and misinformation campaign about what is happening in South Africa, and I think you've seen the visuals of what's transpiring in Durban. Are there conversations happening with the other countries in Africa, particularly Malawi, that seems to be struggling to repatriate their citizens?
Yes, there's a lot of disinformation. A lot of disinformation that is aimed at tarnishing the image of South Africa. We have explained fully the challenge that we have of immigration in our country, and many other countries around the world, including our own continent, have their own challenges of immigration. The one thing that South Africans are not is xenophobic. South Africans are not xenophobic, and we are addressing their concerns. And I spoke to the president of Malawi just a few days ago, and he said to me, we understand the challenge and the problems that you are facing, and we are with you, and we are there to support you, and we will work with your government to enable those who want to leave and those who may be undocumented to leave peacefully. And that is a commitment I gave him. And I had a very good exchange with President Mutharika on the telephone. And we have also said that we are going to have time to meet. Now, my envoys are going to be leaving to various countries on the continent to deal specifically with the disinformation, with the position that government has taken on this issue. So we are addressing these issues, both the concerns of those who are outside our country and those who are inside our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have to run.
No, you can't run just yet. Why did it have to take March and other groupings for you to actually start these interventions? I would argue you've lost the room, Mr. President.
No, we have actually been doing a lot of work, changing our immigration laws and also empowering our immigration officials to address these specific issues. And of course, the challenge of immigration that we're facing is in the end an economic one, because those who come to our country are in the main economic migrants or refugees. So therefore, we want the whole region and the continent to address this issue together with us, so that we address the root cause of why people would leave their own country and come to what they see as an economic oasis. And so as we address these problems, we are making advances, and now we are getting more and more stronger as we address these problems.
See you on the 30th? Where will you be on the 30th of June? Will you be in the country?
I haven't checked my diary. Yes, I will be here, home.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. President.
So, as I said, no South African must take any action against any person from any of our African sister countries. That is the responsibility of government and government officials. So the 30th, the so-called 30th of June, in my view, is not an event that is even necessary because we are addressing the challenges that our people are facing. And we must not allow South Africans to be duped and to be misled by those who want to foster instability in our country. And we will not allow that. So security forces in our country are going to ensure that there is no instability and there's no disruption of the lives of our people. But government is continuing the We will set up dedicated courts to deal with immigration, to speedily support the deportation of undocumented migrants. The South African Police Service, Home Affairs, and the Department of Employment and Labor are increasing inspections, targeting companies employing undocumented foreign nationals. As part of rebuilding labor enforcement capacity, the Department of Employment and Labor has launched the phased recruitment of 10,000 inspectors for this financial year, as I announced during the State of the Nation address. We're going to increase the penalties, including imprisonment, for employers who violate our Immigration Act.
But here's my biggest problem. I don't think the president was properly briefed. I don't think he took time to go to Home Affairs, to go to the border, to find out the extent of the damage. Because the issues that he's raising as solutions are impractical. And I can tell you now that some of the things, if not all of them that he said, are not going to be implementable.